I'm Jennifer Johnson and I raise sheep for their wool.
Welcome to Whispering Pines Shetland Sheep Farm in western New York State, home to our lovely flock of soft Shetland sheep. We breed and raise our sheep to produce soft, crimpy wool for hand spinners to enjoy. Thank you for liking this video and for subscribing to our channel.
This is day one of halter training a lamb. I deliberately selected my least friendly, least cooperative, just because I really wanted you to get the full experience. So on day one of halter training a lamb, it's really just about getting the lamb comfortable having that rope around her face. And you have to set your expectations really low, and you have to put your I'm a patient person hat on, so you can't get angry with the sheep when they start to act up, because this is really stressful and just a different thing for them. All right, so I'm going to get the halter on her. I haven't named these lambs yet. Oops. This one is out of Tatiana, and she's a fawn catmugget. So fawn is her color and catmugget is the pattern. All right, so she's got the halter on. It's not too bad. So one of the things she's going to learn is about having the halter on. And then the second thing we're going to teach her is this pulling. Like when I pull on it, she's going to learn to go in the direction that I pull her. But right now I'm just going to do this, and I usually do it for about 5 minutes. She wants to get back with her family. Timing wise, I always do halter training before I feed them in the morning, because eventually day 3 or 4, I'm going to take her away from the barn and we're gonna walk to the barn where all the feed is, so that she's got some motivation to move. So that's, and you always want to do this the same time every day to give that little bit of consistency to her, because my experience has been by day 3 of teaching a sheep something, they know how to do it. So for example, when I want to select a small group of sheep and move them into another section of the barn, let's say for breeding, by day 4 of me putting them over there, all I need to do is open up the gate and those sheep will just walk over, because they've learned that that's what my expectation is. So halter training, you can do this with an adult. It doesn't have to be a lamb. I've put halters on lambs that were weeks old, like when they were, during the frolics. If they come up to me, I'll put a halter on just so they get the feel for this. Even my most friendly ewes on this first day, they're going to respond and react like this, like they're just really uncomfortable. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. You want to look at the camera? People can see you. Cute little face. It's handy with the coats too, because I have a little bit of a handle. So I'm just going to put a little, see now she's reacting to that pressure that I'm applying. So just this tiny bit of pressure is also part of the training. I've heard people do halter training where they tie the lamb to a post for this piece of it, and she will apply the pressure just by doing the resistance. I don't like to do it that way. I like to be attentive. I like to be there. I like me being with her, be part of the training. So I've seen people and I actually used to do this, where I would halter 6 lambs and then tie them to 6 posts and sort of just monitor. But this is the way I really like to do it. So this is halter training day 1. Legit. I mean, this is really, she's learning how it feels. And she's learning that there's not going to be any pain or trauma after it's done, right? So for Shetlands, halters are really difficult to find. Most halters are for sheep that have bigger heads. The reason we selected Shetlands was because we liked the small head. It's a really good trait when it comes to lambing. So the lambs pass out of the canal really easily versus like a baby doll. They have those enormous heads. The downside is when you put on the halter, sometimes they'll slide off. So I put a lot of research into getting this one. These are from Premier, and I'll put a link in the description. I'm pretty sure they still offer these, and they are designed for smaller heads. You can make your own. I've known people that have crocheted their own halters and created them. I don't know, these are a lot more rugged, a little more durable. All right, so I think that's about it for today for her. And I'm not gonna lead her in by the halter today because it's too much. So we're just gonna take it off and then let her go back in with her flock and call that day one. So this is good. See how she's kind of resigned herself to the, oh, stinker. You're a stinker. All right, we'll check back tomorrow. The halter I use, like I said, I get it from Premier, and this is really a very typical halter setup. So what you have is 2 slip knots, so the ropes can slide through them easily. And this is the hole that you slide their nose through. You can set it either way. I tend to use it where the fixed side is on the top of their nose and then tighten it from the bottom. And here's where you would tighten it on them. And then this is where you tighten it on their head. So like I said, with the Shetlands, because their head is so small, it will slip off if you're, you know, pulling and there's a lot of strain. With sheep that have horns, these are great. They never come off. Or if you've got a sheep that's got a really big pull, normally it works out really nicely. But if your Shetlands aren't halter trained, many times the halter will slide off of their head because of the strain and the pulling, the resistance that they're providing during the process. So let's go ahead and do day 2 of halter training my lamb. And today I'm going to do a little bit of a different step, which I'll show you. But first I'm going to go in and get her, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm going to put the halter on. So slide that larger loop over her head. And then here's the nose thing. And like I said, to tighten it, I do the tightening on the bottom part of her jaw. And this is the fixed dimension. It fits quite nicely over the nose. So today, look at her. Yesterday, she was really panicked. Now she's probably going to make me a liar, but just a little bit more comfortable with it. I'm going to mix it up a little bit today. I'm going to stand up. So like right now, I'm crouched down. I'm at her height. When we are standing with sheep, that is something they're sensitive to. It's an intimidating situation for them. So I'm going to introduce that here right now, because when I halter train her, I'm not going to be doing it on my knees. So are you ready? Nice and slow. It's different, isn't it? So she's pulling, creating that resistance, putting tension on the halter. So she's kind of self-training right now. When we are trained, there will be no resistance, and so she'll just have that sitting on her head. I'm going to give it a little tug here. You just have to be really patient and just not get frustrated. They're never going to do this really well the first day, but this is really good progress. I'm actually pretty pleased with this. You're going to be okay, aren't ya? So I'm just going to do this for about 5 minutes, and then we'll come back when I get, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So it's been 5 minutes. She's been working through the discomfort of the unusual thing around her head. What I'm going to do today on day 2 is I'm going to lead her from here in front of the barn to the 10 feet distance between me and her flock. So this is going to accomplish a couple things. One is she's going to get the experience of walking and following me while she's on the lead. but she's motivated to get to the flock. So it's almost going to be like a little bit of it is her walking on her own, but I'm kind of this new variable that's been added into her equation. So we're going to head over there now, and I am not going to drag her. So there'll may be a point in time here where she falls on the floor. I'm going to wait for her to get up, kind of like a toddler throwing a tantrum in the grocery store. So we just have patience. Now there's a piece of metal sticking out there that the door hangs on. I always try to make sure that they're as far away from stuff like that as possible when we're doing this. She just bashed her nose in that little pile of stone there and didn't like it. So I think that might have taught her not to flail her head down into the ground. All right, are you ready? Are you ready? It's okay. Come here. Yeah. Okay, here we are. Let's get this off first. And there you go. Not too bad. So I'm pretty pleased with that. For day 2, that's really good progress. I think she did really well. And it's only going to get better from here. So we'll touch base tomorrow. All right, so we're on day 3 of halter training, our little fawn cat mug at you here. Today, what I'm going to do is put the halter on her. We're going to stand, and she's going to get used to having it on her face. And then we're going to go about another 15 feet away from the barn, from her flock, so she won't be able to see them. And she and I are going to attempt to walk back to where the flock is, and then I'm going to put her back in the barn. So we're going to get the halter on. All right, so I'm standing. I've got the halter, the rope end of the halter really firmly in my hand. And it's slack right now, so she's not pulling. I'm going to try and get her away from the doors and the hardware and stuff. So this is the first part of halter training today. We're going to do about 3 minutes of her responding to having the halter and having that pressure. This is really good progress. So this is kind of like, we call this the marlin fishing part of halter training, where she's kind of jumping up in the air. Just getting used to what it feels like. It's always nice too when they take a little nibble of grass, because that tells you that maybe they're getting a little bit used to it. You can see that I've got the halter looped around. This just gives me a nice handle. You do not want to let go of the halter rope when you're in the midst of halter training. So she's gnashing her teeth. That's another really normal thing. You can hear her clamping her molars in the back. Now she's smelling the grass. Oh, oof. So this is day 3. I'm really happy with her progress so far. I think right now she's thinking about having some grass. Whoops, we got tangled. We got a little tangly. But you didn't know sheep could do flips, did you? Very acrobatic. She smells that grass, but she's still a little too agitated. All right, what do you say, Missy? You want to go back in the barn? So right now the halter is really slack. So what I do is when I'm walking, if she's following me, regardless of whether she's flailing around, I keep the line slack so that it doesn't stress her. But if she decides to go in a different direction for me and it becomes tight, I leave that tension on the halter, and that teaches her that's the wrong thing to do. All right, you ready, Missy? So here we go. Very firm on the rope part of the halter. You ready? When I used to train kids at 4-H on this, they'd have the temptation to drag her. You don't want to do that. You want her to be her moving on her own feet. There we go. That's good. Okay, come here. Oh, I know it's so scary. You can do it. Okay. Good girl. There you go. Okay, day 3. So the question is, why halter train? So I can think of 3 really good reasons for halter training your sheep. The first one is, once they're trained, it's incredibly easy to move them from one location to another. So for example, let's say I'm setting up breeding groups and I need to move my ewes to another pen. I can halter them and very nicely carry them over, or walk them over, versus having to carry them, drag them, put them in a cart and handle, do all that kind of rigmarole. So just for the regular handling makes it really nice. The second thing is, if you want to show them at any kind of a livestock show or exhibition or take them out in public, having them walk nicely on a halter is really important. So specifically, if you're in a judging ring and your lamb is behaving like ours did today, the judge can't get a good sense for her conformation, what her structure is, because she's bracing, she's jumping, you can't really see, so you're not going to do well. So that's another reason why you want to halter train. And the third reason is kind of more like the aesthetic dream farm thing, where it's really nice to put your ewe on a halter and take her for a walk and then sit in the grass while she finds a nice patch of clover or something. And it's just really a fun, nice thing to do, to be able to walk around with your halter trained ewe. And I will say, once she's trained, she'll be trained for life. So I've got ewes in there that I halter trained years ago. And when I put a halter on them, they immediately remember. There's a little bit of resistance at first, nothing like what we saw today with our lamb. And I can walk around the farm with them on the halter, and the line is slack, they know to follow me, they know to start and stop when I do. So once you've gone through this process, you never have to do it again. So those are the reasons why you want to halter train your ewes. Okay, we're on day 4 of halter training this little ewe lamb. And I put the halter on her already. So today what I want to do is take a big step where we're going to attempt to walk to that flower pot and back into the barn. So it's going to be a quicker session today. It's going to be hard for her though to be walking away. So be prepared. This is not inhumane or cruel. Getting her halter trained is great for long-term safety of transporting and handling. All right, let's get that back on you, because it just slipped off. Remember, I was talking about how the halters slip off. All right, now I have a nice firm grip. My patient hat is on. Good girl. Good, lovey girl. That's okay. Good girl. Yeah, come on. A little slack and then let it loose. At least she's not falling over. Sometimes they'll fall over, pretend that they're fainting. It's okay. It's okay. Oh, you're so good. We did it. All right. Oh, you gotta go potty. That's okay. Okay, let's go. Okay. I didn't mention this before, but I do try to keep her on the same side. Although she's in charge today a little bit. Okay, okay. All right. We did it. So this is Alice Paul, and I trained her in 2020. So this is 4 years from when I trained her. And I put her on the halter 2 years ago. And that's it. So I just want to show you, once you've halter trained, it takes a little time for her to remember However, she's halter trained. Do you remember? Yeah, good girl. Let's go for a walk. See? You're so good. You're just a good girl. I'm so proud of her. So you can see the benefits. Once you've got them trained, they're so easy to handle. And I guarantee you this little lamb, even though right now we're seeing a lot of drama, but I guarantee you that she'll get to this point within the next few days. Now, today is Thursday. I'm going to be at a fiber festival for the next 4 days. So she's going to get a 4-day break from training, which I've never done that before. So we're going to see, next Tuesday, we're going to put her back on the halter, and let's take a look and see how she remembers her training. Okay, so we had a 4-day break and we're back to, I can't even remember, I think this might be day 4 of halter training. Today I'm going to have her stand here and remember, and then we're gonna go for a little walk. I was at the Adirondack Woolen Arts Festival this weekend, so she had a break. And I do have a video I just put up about the festival, just kind of grabbed some quick footage so you could see what it looks like. And we had a steady day of rain yesterday, so she's just a little bit wet. So that's why she looks a little bit stringy today. Remember this? Remember I said I selected kind of the least friendly, most shy ewe to do this with, just to give you the worst case scenario. But don't be, the friendly ones would probably have a hard time with it at first as well. All right, you want to go for a walk? Let's give it a try. Come on. There we go. Come on. So a little bit tight, and then let it go slack when she moves. Come on. We're going to go a little further today. Oh! She just kind of got startled because she saw the wide open over there. Yes! This isn't too bad. Come on. All right, well, for a 4-day break, that's not too bad. I mean, all this jumping around and stuff is that's not what I would call halter trained. So we'll probably have a couple more days with this one. So we'll keep working on it. camera, huh? Today was the last day that I'm going to be sharing halter training with that little lamb. She's doing okay. She's probably not the best one that I've ever halter trained, and she, hasn't changed her temperament one bit. She's still really shy. So I would say she's probably my least successful halter training. It might have been better if I'd have had more than one ewe that I was doing it at a time. Sometimes when they can walk with another ewe, it's easier for them, especially the shy ones. But that's how I do halter training. Hopefully you found it helpful if you're a new sheep owner and want to get your sheep on a lead. I'm not going to be halter training any more lambs this year, I don't think, just because we're getting ready for Rhinebeck, which is, by the way, my next series of videos. So thank you so much for staying with me to the end of this and watching me halter train my little ewe lamb. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, it'd be great if you could hit the like button, maybe subscribe to my channel for more videos down the road, and if you tap the notification bell, you'll get notified as my new videos get posted up to the channel. So thanks again, hope you liked it, and I hope you can come back soon.